see discussions about gentrification. You
Wow.
will see discussions
Yes.
about what's going on in Harlem in terms of maintaining the people, the working class people in the neighborhoods that created what we know and love about Harlem. So it's a lot. The show deals with a lot, but in a very real way that isn't contrived. It's very current. It's what we are seeing in America right now. So that's, kind of our little niche, our differences.
This is the
So
blackest year
awesome.
ever.
I'm telling you.
Ever.
I mean, I was
Ever.
for Luke Cage, but now, girl, you have got me like going
Okay.
crazy over here. Oh my God.
I mean,
Um,
the cast alone, we've got Mahershala Ali, who a lot of people know from A House of
Yes.
Cards.
Yes,
We've
I
got
love
Alfre
him.
Woodard. We've got Rosario Dawson. We've got just Theo Rossi. We just got a great cast. The
mm,
cast. And then to have, the music that we're going to have. I mean, people are just going to be surprised. They're going to be blown away.
mm.
I know I was every time I read this. I was like, who y'all got? Whoa, okay. All right.
So Cheo Hodari Coker, he had recently made a statement comparing this show to The Wire. Would you say that that's accurate?
Oh, I gotta be honest here, guys. I haven't seen the entire season of The Wire, so
That is okay. I just started on The Wire this year.
Don't feel
I'm
bad.
also late.
it
I'm
is my
from Baltimore
husband's.
and I've never seen The Wire, so oh
Really?
yeah, it's like looking out the
Okay,
window. I'm good.
right. You're just looking out of the window. Okay.
Well, all
What?
of those things that
Yeah.
you described about the gentrification and Black
Hmm.
Lives Matter and all of those social issues, some of those kinds of issues were addressed on The Wire. I mean, back in the day when it was actually aired, not
Right.
current issues that you're speaking of, but it was speaking to issues of how the community of Baltimore had been plagued by the drug trade and also the politics involved. So I was curious to know if it those parallels matched. But if you haven't seen it, then check out The Wire.
It's
Everybody
funny.
else
It is
told
my
me.
husband's, it is his favorite show. I have bought him the box sets. Like, it's in our home. And he sat me down and we've watched several episodes, but to really, be an expert and draw those parallels. I mean, I am technically the Idris of the show,
Right.
of Luke Cage,
Yes.
parallel in that way. No, that's not it at all. Not at all. But no, it definitely does deal with uh, like you said, the drug trade that goes on within the community, gentrification that's going on, politics, and the corruption that exists within the people who are actually there to serve the community, and them taking advantage of it in that way. So those parallels are there, but it at the same time is a superhero show, and we don't have Marlo, Marlon, Mar, Mar. We don't have Jamie Hector, who whose character name I can't remember. We don't have Michael K. Williams. We've got Luke Cage. We've got Michael Coulter with superhero strength and bulletproof skin,
Hmm.
going in and handling, business. So I think it's a different thing. I can see where the similarities can be drawn, but I think it's something that we've never seen before. We just have never seen a black man on TV as a superhero. We just haven't seen it.
So excited.
So this is, I think, we can say, oh, it's got a little bit of this with a little bit of that, but it's its own gumbo. It's its own pot.
You mentioned early on that the auditioning process was very easy. Can you tell us more about how it went down and why it was so easy?
Um, the Lord.
I know
And
that's right.
I'm going to be 100, 100, 100. Like
100.
seriously, I had gotten the audition and got an email to me and had a little bit of had heard about the show and at the time they were calling the character Missy. So I had no reference point for what that was. And they had not said that this is a Luke Cage Marvel superhero show. It was just like, this is an audition for a woman. And so I put myself on tape, like I said, in my living room. That's very normal for actors nowadays. A lot of things are cast. They call it eco-casting. You put yourself on tape, and if they like it, you book it, or they'll call you in rather than wasting your time and theirs. So I put myself on tape, and my manager, Stephanie Moy, who I love, I've been with her for a couple years. She calls me up and she's like, "That was great. And you look great." And I was like, "Okay, girl, calm down." Like, she was really excited. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so she calls me a couple days later and she's like, "Yeah, so they want you to come in." And I had an idea. I had heard, through the Negro nets of the community
Negro nets
of Black folk in Hollywood. I had heard that they had another actor in mind for this role. That was their dream, who they wanted. So I was like, I don't know why y'all getting excited over here, because I already know who they want. It's like when the role of Cookie Lyon might have come around and people were like, "I got an audition." And the other people are like, "They want Taraji. They gonna get Taraji." You know what I mean? It was kind of that situation where I already knew who they wanted for the role. So leading up to it, I was doing a play. I was in rehearsal, and we had opening weekend the Friday before the audition, and the audition was on Tuesday. So come opening night, I got the worst cold ever and was dog sick all weekend. Lost my voice on Sunday, and I was like, I just don't even know if I'm going to be able to make it into this audition, let alone do a good job. So I went into the room so high on Dayquil and Echinacea and every quill I could find that I was so cool. Like, I was probably unnaturally cool. They were like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," because I had gone into the bathroom before and just prayed to God, like, just give me 10 minutes of not letting my nose run down my face. Just let me go in there with 10 minutes. That's all I need. And so when I came out of the audition, my husband was like, "So how did it go?" And I was like, "I didn't die." And he was like, "What?" Like, he's expecting for me to be like, "It was amazing and I did a great job." I was like, "Well, I didn't pass out. So I think, that was a good thing." He was completely, just over me at that point. But then they called and they were like, "Yeah, you got the job." So like I said, it was prayer and God and Dayquil that got me.
Prayer, God, and Dayquil. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. That is the trinity of that audition's success. Those were the three things I needed.
Wow. Are you ready to be a superstar? Because that's going to happen next once this drops.
You know what's so funny? I am not. I am not. And I think that I just got the chance to go see Beyonce, and she was at the Rose Bowl, and to be a performer, to sell out an arena, not to sell out a stadium, not to sell out a club, but to sell out an arena, like, that's a level of success that you can see tangibly. And as we are going to the concert, there are all these people on the streets of Pasadena who are going to see Beyonce. And you can see it. And my husband is like, "Are you ready? Like, do you want that kind of success? Or are you ready for what that is?" And, people talk to you about Comic-Con and how crazy it's going to be and how excited people are going to be. And, there are some actors who don't like Comic-Con. They're like, "Oh, it's a hassle. People are just insane." And then there are people like me who are like, "Hell yeah, I'm ready for Comic-Con. Like, this is what it's all about." This is the opportunity to meet the people who make stuff like this possible. Yeah. But I don't think I embrace the idea of not being able to walk to my grocery store, or not being able to, take my niece to the park, or not being able to go to, the movies with my mother. Like, I don't accept that. And there are a lot of people who are extremely famous, who people love, who lead normal lives. So in terms of like being a superstar, sure, as long as that means that I can still lead a normal life, because I don't ever want to be able to not get on a podcast with you guys, or not, be able to just talk to people on an individual level, person to person, and I think that when we think about superstar, we think people who are just untouchable and out of our reach, and that's not how I got here. Those are not the actors that I admire. That is not the way that I envision my career. So I am ready for all of the success that this project and this character brings, but I refuse and deny the concept that I won't ever still just get to be Simone from Detroit, who went to Renaissance High School and Howard University, and my mom still tells me she don't like my hair or my outfit. Like, I'm still gonna be that person.
I love you, Simone. I just want you to know that. Thank you so much for coming on our show. Before you go, can you just let our listeners know where they can find you on the interwebs, and give us all your social media shout outs?
Yes, Simone Missick on Twitter and on Instagram. Super simple, SIMONE MISSICK. Yeah, those are my my things, Instagram and Twitter. That's all I got. So at Simone Missick on Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you so much again for coming on our show.
Thank you, ladies. Y'all just made me feel so good. Made me feel so comfortable and confident.
Oh, I love it when our guests are brilliant. Just brilliant. All over this, just everywhere. Just brilliant.
And so
y'all got some great voices too. Like,
thank you.
Good job. You got it. You dropped it down to the deeper register. Thank you.
Luke Cage is an upcoming TV series developed by Netflix, executive produced by Cheo Hodari Coker. Based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name, it's set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which ties and shares continuity between Daredevil and Jessica Jones, which will eventually lead up to a Defenders crossover miniseries. Mike Coulter stars as Luke Cage, Mahershala Ali stars as Cottonmouth Stokes, Simone Missick plays Misty Knight, Theo Rossi plays Shades, Alfre Woodard plays Mariah Dillard, and Frank Whaley plays Raphael Scarf. Each of those actors, including the head of Marvel Television, Joseph Lieb, is featured in this segment. This was a roundtable interview, so just keep in mind that there is a lot of ambient background noise between other interviewers at the tables surrounding us, so you may hear a little bit of feedback there. And also, what I'll do is just make a quick whisper announcement before each segment when we switch roundtables. And again, because of the background noise, some of us as press, even though I did ask questions myself, Connie, who was there, asked questions, and other outlets asked questions, you don't get to hear it because of a lot of background noise. So I had to cut that out and just play the responses to each respective question. So just keep in mind that you're going to hear the actors giving answers to questions that you didn't hear. But it's pretty clear and you can understand exactly what they're talking about. So all you Luke Cage fans, I think you're going to really love this segment. Enjoy.
Never gamble with
Cheo Hodari Coker and Mike Coulter.
And never name a show after a lead actor. With the exception of Mike Coulter. Because the thing is that as Luke Cage, he just, oh my God. I mean, well, first off, I've been trying to take a bad picture of the brother for a year, and it's impossible. He's always backlit. You'll notice, like, these photos, even when he sits down, it's like, he looks amazing. But the thing is that he just so embodies the character. And, you know, ultimately, as a quarterback for the entire team, he really, he leads by example, but he's fun. He's jovial. Everyone has a, you know, when he's on set, it's like it's fun. At the same time, he knows his lines. Which, I mean, I know that sounds cliche, but it's so important that you have actors that are invested in the show and on everyone's time, because when you don't, that's when you get the delays